I launched this method of making high ticket sales online on the 2nd of January 2024, and not even 3 weeks later, on the 18th of January, I made a sale worth $12,000. And my only regret really is not knowing about how to do this any sooner. Now, due to a few reasons and the fact that I'm not really seeing as much connection or purpose to the work I was previously doing, I'm actually rebuilding and starting this from scratch, and I'm going to show you step by step exactly how this method works and how you can do it for yourself as well. So let's get into the 6-month plan of how to become a full-time content creator. So we've got 8 parts to follow here. I hope you're focused, I hope you're paying attention, because if you actually implement this, this can actually change your life, and I mean that very, very seriously. So getting into step 1, we need to start with what can we offer to this world. Now, you might be in a situation where you might have nothing to offer. This is where I started, quite honestly. I didn't have any skills really to share, and I had to learn a skill. You might be in a situation where you're already skilled. You might have something to do with sport, fishing, cooking, literally anything. You might have a skill you might be able to offer the world and share digitally. And you might also have a transformation. This is the situation I'm in, for example. I've been able to work out how to go from being in a situation where you kind of really start from this nothing position, but you've been able to find a way of making online income through being a very small micro content creator and selling high ticket to people that you actually want to work with and people that fit your mission, and it makes you feel purposeful by doing so. So this is the transformation I'm teaching. That's what I'm sharing. But you might have something else where you've gone from, it could be in your marriage, for example. You could be going from a marriage that actually separated, it split up, and you've been able to rebuild it together, and you might be able to help people go through that transformation, for example. So when we talk about transformation, we're probably talking about some sort of coaching aspect where you're helping someone, you're showing someone the path. But something like marriage, you can't really do it for them, so it's not going to be a service, if you see what I mean. With a skill, it can be coaching and it can be a service. So if, like for my example, I had no skills, so I decided to learn marketing skills, and then I provided that as a service. But it could also be that I learn marketing skills and then I decide to coach marketing skills other people that want to learn marketing for their own business. So you can kind of go one of two paths in that case. If you are in this nothing position and you think, okay, I need to learn a skill, but Lewis, what skill should I learn? I'd recommend learning a skill that's going to add some value to a business, because that tends to be a way that's quite easy to market and also to demonstrate a clear return on investment as well. You might have different interests, which is completely fine, and I genuinely believe there is an audience out there for everyone, especially with, like, I was able to generate multiple 5 figures of sales with fewer than 2,000, I think fewer than 2,500 definitely followers. So you don't need to have a massive audience to actually make this work, to make a living, to work online, to live the life of freedom. You really don't need a massive audience. So there's a lot of things out there, and you can find something that is interesting to you. And yeah, so I hope that's helpful. I'm going to move on from this one now, because we could be there all day just talking about skills to learn, but just think about it. And then if you do have questions, just let me know in the comments as well. So moving on to step 2. So you know whether you're going to share a transformation or a skill with the world, okay? We can help businesses and we can also help customers. So business to business sales is known to be as B2B, and then business to I was meant to say consumers earlier. Business to consumers is known as B2C. Really, everyone is just people, but it's easy to split it into 2. So in terms of businesses, you can probably think of lots of different categories, but we've got local service providers, brick and mortar businesses, so that will be like cafes. So local service providers would be like a plumber, brick and mortar would be like a cafe or a gym, e-commerce, so online stores, content creators, and also software as well. And then you've also got consumers here. This is pretty much anyone. Just be smart with it. Make sure that you're following these rules that we're about to get into in a minute. And I quite like the angle of your previous self. This is essentially what I build my channel for, because I know the situation I was in before. And if I can communicate with myself clearly in that way, I'm probably going to attract people that are similar to me, and therefore people that I'm going to enjoy working with as well. So this is a good angle to take, but again, let's be smart. So Alex Hormozy, if you don't know him, he's an entrepreneur who's been very successful building. He started with building gyms, then he transitioned into information, and now has gone into the acquisition of large companies, like running a business called acquisition.com. He selected 4 very clear rules when it comes to selecting a good market. The first one is in pain, so they actually have a problem. Now, this problem is going to be related to the 3 main areas, which is health, wealth, and relationships. So you're going to be in one of these main niches. So there's going to be 3 major niches, and then you're going to niche down from there. But they're going to have some sort of pain related to their health. So they might be fat, and they don't want to be fat anymore. They might be poor, and they don't want to be poor anymore. They might not have the relationships they want to be in. You might be a dating coach, for example, and you help people with finding the right one for them. The next thing is purchasing power, and this is the main area where I say just be smart. So if you are someone who has been able to go from homeless to working a steady 6-figure job, let's say, that big transformation there, helping other homeless people isn't going to be very intelligent. Now, I fully appreciate that transformation is absolutely massive and it's life-changing, and you can truly change the lives of so many people. But really, when it comes to building an online business, these people just they simply aren't going to have the purchasing power necessary for it to make sense for you. So that's the problem there. Easy to target. So easy to target is helped by the fact that we're going to be using the social media algorithms to be able to do so. So we're going to be using Instagram mainly. This is how I've been able to get my success. And just think, do these people have Instagram? Lots and lots of people do. So it's not really something I'd overthink too much, unless I just can't really think who's not on Instagram at this point. So yeah, if you can think of anyone that wouldn't be on Instagram, then please do comment, but most people would be. And especially, like, I'm not saying, like, there's this subsection of people, but remember what I said, I can make this work with under 3,000 followers, right? So even if the small group of, like, even if the majority or half of the subsection of these people are not on Instagram, you still don't need to have, like, everyone in that niche following you, if that makes sense. And then it's also a growing market. So the example that Alex Hormozy gives is actually in the newspaper industry. So that's not a growing market. So you don't want to be in that kind of situation. So think about that when it comes to businesses and consumers and the kinds of people that you're going to be helping. Number 3. So we know what we're going to share. We know who we're going to help. So what do we actually sell? Well, there's a nice little graph that I've put together for you here to give you a bit of an understanding as to the kinds of degrees in which you can help someone go through a transformation, whether you're coaching them along the way or providing a service for them. So if we talk about audience size and versus ticket size, so ticket size is the typical cost of what you're going to be selling. Now, it's going to obviously vary, but I wanted to keep it nice and simple. So audience size, at this end, we're talking about the likes of Mr. Beast, right? Massive audience, and he's able to sell products like Feastables at a very low cost, but he's able to sell thousands, millions of them because he's got such a massive audience, so it actually makes sense. But if I'm there with a couple thousand Instagram followers, then if I just launch a chocolate bar, I might make like maybe £100 in sales in a month if I'm really, really lucky. So that's the kind of situation you're in there. So this is nice because it's nice and scalable. And it's also going to attract a large proportion of your market because lots of people are going to be in the situation where they can afford a chocolate bar. But yeah, it's not the type of thing we do if we've got a small audience. And we are starting as these micro content creators, okay? This can also be info products as well. So this can be things like a course where someone just buys it and you kind of just leave it out there, you set it and forget it. and then people just keep buying it. Now, this can actually be higher on the ticket size, the courses. So this is where it kind of moves more into that DIY category. So I will just call out these three here. So do it yourself, done with you, and done for you. Done for you is going to be a service, and this is where we are likely going to start if we don't have any skills yet. Done for you just means you're doing it for someone. You are just getting your hands dirty, you're taking care of whatever it is, whether it's their video editing, whether it's setting up their content creation system, whether it is helping them with appointment setting online. This is the done for you. It's not very scalable, but you're able to charge high ticket because you are literally doing it for them. You're not relying on them to do anything. They don't need to worry about anything because you're taking it all off their plate. The other one we've got here is also one-to-one coaching. So this is where I'm starting as a content creator myself. One-to-one coaching while the audience is small, and then we can move into done with you and cohort, this kind of region. So a cohort would be, we've got like, let's say 10 people that want to start an online business together. We're all going to hold each other accountable, and we're going to set ourselves a 90-day challenge in order to do that. We're going to be working together, bouncing ideas off each other. We're going to have regular meetings all together, and we're going to really succeed as a unit. This is going to be a cohort, but because it's not one-to-one, I wouldn't be able to charge as much for that, for example. So that's why it's slightly low on the ticket size. But because I've got a larger audience, then it means that I'm going to be able to attract that cohort of 10, let's say. Done with you is going to be likely some sort of service and coaching element. So, for example, if I'm doing an SEO service for my clients, a done with you portion of that would be, okay, look, we're going to build out the strategy for you. We're going to build out the content briefs for you. But what you're going to do is you're actually going to write the content that we're recommending. You're going to go ahead and fix up the website in the way that we're recommending. So we're just here as an advisor, and then you go ahead and implement it. And that's what a done with you kind of service would look like. And this can be high ticket, right? I'm just trying to make this easy to illustrate what we've got here. And then do it yourself is going to be something like, it's more along the lines of a course. You might have some consultation calls or something like that, with maybe a large community, or it might be some one-to-one consultation calls. But really, you're giving them access to some information. They implement it all, and then you might be there to offer some sort of consultative element. So we're going to start over here. Okay, we're going to start with done for you and one-to-one coaching while the audience size is small. But really, as you move down here, or as you move across, you're going to start to have larger impact for more people. And if that's something that you care about, then that's great, because you know you're going to be doing the right thing. If you care about spreading your message and sharing that access to the information or the transformation that you've been able to implement for yourself, then that shows that you are kind of doing something from the heart, from the purpose. Because really, once you've kind of got the basic needs taken care of financially and things like that, you're going to be wondering, okay, is this something I really want to do despite the money? Would I be doing this for free? And if that's not the case, then you probably won't want to take it to these next levels. But if you do, you'll be able to spread your message and share your transformation with more people. And then these also end up being much more scalable methods of making your money as well, moving into this direction. So then you do end up making more money. But yeah, I don't think you'll find it particularly rewarding if money is the main thing you do focus on. It's obviously great to get started and make that first transition. It's absolutely amazing, actually, to make that first transition into being able to work online. But that is, you can really make a really large impact by helping people in this way, because it is higher leverage, and you're able to serve more people. So moving into step 4 then. So we've been able to choose in what way we're going to offer our thing, our transformation, or our skill. We know who we're going to help, businesses or consumers. And now we need to know how we're actually going to become this content creator that I speak so passionately about. Okay, so I want a bit of a challenge. So we're going to take a dog trainer as an example. So someone who's been able to go through the whole, not necessarily a dog trainer, but someone who is just creating content about their dog. She's going to be called Sally. She got herself a puppy. The puppy was 8 weeks old, and she's going to be creating content because she loves her dog. She loves creating content about her dog, and then she's also going to be able to offer some sort of product on the back end, helping other people raise their puppy, train their puppy to the point that when they're, I don't know, 1 year old, they're kind of the dream puppy or whatever. So the first thing, the core offer, we're mainly going to be creating content about the core offer that you have. And I'm not saying here that we're just talking about, okay, I'm pitching this one-to-one coaching in every single video. But it's going to be mainly about dogs here, right? So it's going to be, did I call her Sally? And her dog, John. Okay. So this is going to be the main thing, and also, I guess, John's progress. John's progress as a puppy. Now, the supporting topics are going to be things that help out, but they're not going to distract from it. So they're going to be related in some sort of way, but it's not going to be like a million miles away. So for example, I create content about starting a business and starting a business that you find purposeful and also gives you that location freedom, time freedom, financial freedom to live a life on your terms. I would then therefore talk about mindset and also talk about kind of optimizing. So for me, it would be like mindset, optimizing your health and focus for what you're doing. And it'll also be along the lines of productivity and focus. These could be supporting topics, but the main area I'm talking about is entrepreneurship and online business, right? So she's going to be talking about John and John growing up as a fit, healthy puppy that's well behaved and things like that. So this could be things like dog food. This could be things like products, so product reviews, that kind of thing. Things like the toys that she gets John and things like that. And then also maybe balance. So Sally could be working a job right now, and she's talking about how to balance a job with a new puppy and how to live your life that way. So I hope that makes sense. You would, if you are paying attention now and you really want to take this seriously, you would give consideration, okay, what is my core offer? You're going to know what that is, but then what are going to be the supporting topics that I find interesting, that I also want to talk about, that I think are really, really important. So for me, I know it's really, really important to get your mindset right and to get your health in check so you can actually perform at the highest level possible when it comes to creating content and also being locked in as an entrepreneur. So what things do you believe passionately about, and what do people actually need to know in order to get the best transformation possible? Gary Vee's advice here, and I think it's really good, is document, don't create. So why am I highlighting this so much? Well, when I was creating content for my SEO agency, it felt very much like I couldn't really document the journey of building the SEO agency because my target customers are moving company owners, for example, and they don't really care much about that. So I kind of had to just create content for them, showing them like, look, this is exactly, and listen to me. This is the information that you need to know. But I felt very much like I was creating, and I was kind of putting on a front as to who I was, because I was thinking, okay, this is who a moving company owner wants to see on camera. This is the person that they want to take care of their SEO, and it worked to an extent. But for me, it didn't feel purposeful. It didn't feel genuine. It didn't feel authentic. But right now on this channel, I'm obviously just documenting. I'm documenting my process of building up this business from scratch to becoming a full-time content creator. So I'm documenting it. You can follow along the journey. You can see that I'm more, well, I don't know if you're going to watch my other content about SEO. But you can see that I'm more passionate about this. More of my personality is going to be coming out. I find it easier to talk. I feel like I'm in much more of a flow state. I'm much more locked in when I'm actually recording these kinds of videos. So that's all going to come across in the video. So not only is your videos going to be better, your content's going to be better if you're documenting rather than creating. I just lagged. What was I going to say? You're also going to have a long. You're also going to have a longer kind of sticking. You're going to stick with it longer. You're going to be able to find more fulfillment in it for longer, and hopefully forever, really. Because if you're able to do this in such a way that you just enjoy what you're doing, then it makes you pretty much unstoppable. If someone is enjoying doing a task that you don't enjoy, they're going to be able to beat you every single day of the week because they're going to approach you with that much more intensity. So document, don't create. Document the process. Don't feel like you have to be perfect. Even if you're literally starting from scratch, you're starting from nothing. If you learn a skill, let's say like copywriting, if you're able to document the process of learning that skill, applying it, the effect it has, your customers are going to be like, oh wow, this is an authentic person. This is the person I want to take care of my copywriting for me. So that's what to talk about. So we know the kind of content topics we're going to follow. We know what we want to sell. We know who we want to help. We know what we're going to share with this world. That brings us into step 5 right here. And that is the content strategy itself. So let's take what we know now in terms of what we actually want to share, and we're actually going to put this into some tangible strategy. So we're going to split this between Instagram and YouTube. This is what I've used. There's going to be millions of other ways you can actually make money online. This is what works for me. This is what I'm going to recommend to you because it's what works for me. On Instagram, viral style reels 4 times per week, stories 5 times per day. You want those viral style reels just going to be able to attract your kind of audience, the kind of people that you want to be in front of. Let's take Sally, the dog trainer. She's going to be creating viral style videos of her dog. This is going to be quite easy for her because pets will go viral quite easily. Different montages and things like that. It might be, I've seen some videos with where the dog has a silly voice. So maybe kind of following that kind of trend and that kind of approach to it. There might be really cinematic montages of her dog doing different things and learning different tricks. It's going to be completely down to Sally in terms of the types of content that she wants to create, but just learning from the market, learning from what people are actually interested in right now, and then taking that into your own content is going to be the best way to approach that. That's what I mean by the viral style reels. You're going to be posting stories 5 times per day. So this is to attract more audience, the viral style reels, right? And then the stories is to take that new audience into someone who's more of a fan. Okay, so this is going to be showing more of your life, showing more of your day-to-day, more of your personality, and your authentic self. What does Sally actually get up to when she's not filming cinematic montages of the dog John? She might be going to the gym, she might be going to grab some coffee, she might have a specific coffee that she loves and she raves about it every time on her story. Those are the different kinds of things that people are going to be engaged with. I realise I'm talking really fast because I'm getting pretty excited about this. You probably don't need to put this on 2 times speed. Those are the things that people love, and they're going to feel like they know Sally really well when they watch these videos. So that's what I want you to share on your story. In terms of calls to action, this is what this arrow signifies: DMs and YouTube. So we're going to be saying, let's say on a story, sometimes we're going to have a call to action, right? And it's going to be, I'm looking for... man, that's just sounded like I'm going to go into looking for a man in finance. So I'm looking for 5 people that have just got an 8-week-old puppy to help one-to-one on training, dealing with different issues with tearing up cushions, peeing inside, everything like that. I'm taking 5 new spots. DM me the word puppy if you want my help. And then you can sell through the DMs, which I'm going to be able to talk to you about in a little bit and be able to convert them into a call. You also want to direct people to YouTube as well. This is where they're going to go from this kind of more superficial level content to this deeper level content like I'm sharing with you on my YouTube channel right now. And that's going to help someone really gain some true value, because there's only so much value you can get from someone's Instagram, right? In a reel. but the true, deep, step-by-step value and that trust is going to be built through the longer form content on YouTube. So that's why I recommend using YouTube as a platform for that, where we go into VSLs. So there's going to be video sales letters 1 to 2 times per week. So video sales letter is basically a way of communicating your transformation, your message in a video format. Now, when I say VSL, it doesn't need to be anything like a typical VSL that you might see on a content creators platform, but really the way I want you to structure it is providing a lot of value, showing the transformation that you can actually help someone go through, and also with some sort of call to action and next step for someone to take. So it doesn't need to be anything crazy like I don't know, like just any info product that you might see out there. It's probably going to have some sort of video on the landing page with slides and things like that. It doesn't need to be built like that. What I just want you to acknowledge is the fact that we want to share a deep amount of value, but then also structure it in such a way where you're communicating a transformation and offering to help someone with that transformation as well. That's going to direct people towards lead magnets. So these are going to be different resources that you share during the video, and also consultation calls. So the reason for lead magnets is someone might not be ready to actually get your help yet. They might not want your help yet, or they might just want to learn from your free content online, which is great. If they're able to implement that, then that is fantastic, because you've really shown that you've been able to help someone with just this free content. And if you can do that, then that is really, really good. You can also collect their email when they sign up for the lead magnet, and then that's good because it's going to grow your email list. It's going to be something that you actually own as well, regardless of what happens with the algorithms on these different platforms that you're working with. You can also direct people towards a consultation call. So if you would like my help and working together one-to-one on building your online business and being able to set yourself up with a business that you feel purposeful, passionate about, that you feel like is actually making an impact, and it's also going to give you the financial resources necessary to live a life of location freedom, and however you define freedom, then feel free to click the link in the description of this video, and then I'll be able to talk with you. We'll do this consultation call. I'll be able to give you some ideas, some recommendations, and if it makes sense to work together, then we can. If not, then no worries. You just had a 45-minute call that's going to help you with your next steps. So that's an example of call to action. And if you would like that, then so yeah, you can direct people to the consultation call as well, where you can actually offer them your real support and explain how your program works. So I hope that's all made sense. We've got some clarity now on content strategy. Moving into 6, we're going to fire up the simple ad system, and this is really dangerously effective, and I love it because it is so easy to implement. So we are going to have a reel, okay? So we're going to boost a reel with these components. So I was spending around £20 a day, so about 26 maybe dollars on this reel that I was running. Okay, I've also spent around £100 a day on this, so I kind of have moved my budget around. I've done varying levels. I wouldn't recommend starting with lower than £15 because that's the lowest I've put myself, so I wouldn't be able to know if it's going to work. So you're going to call out your avatar. You're going to call out the problem, you're going to give an overview of the solution, and give a follow call to action. I'll go through that again. So in this reel, you're going to call out the avatar. You're going to say, if you're someone who's just got an 8-week-old puppy for the first time, and you don't know the first thing about keeping them alive and making sure that they are going to turn into a fully functional, strong, well-behaved adult, then I want to show you my PAW system of raising, nurturing a puppy in the right way whilst avoiding the 3 common mistakes that every puppy owner, first-time puppy owner, makes. It starts with P for da-da-da. Then we move into the A, which is da-da-da, then the W, da-da-da. I cover this in a lot of detail here on my profile on Instagram, so give me a follow for free, and then you'll be able to learn more about it. That's an example of how I structure the ad. So this is what Sally would say. I might be able to just do it off the cuff now. So if you are a first-time puppy owner with an 8-week-old puppy, oh, here we go. We've got the full effect. Maybe we'll even edit this. If you're a first-time puppy owner with an 8-week-old puppy, but you don't know the first thing about how to keep him or her alive and help them grow into a strong, healthy, and well-behaved adult, then I want to share with you the paw system that I've used for myself and also my clients to be able to turn their first-time puppies into really healthy, well-behaved adults that are great with children. Then I'm going to show you the paw system. The P stands for produce, the A stands for assess, and W stands for walking the right way. I cover this in a lot of detail here on my profile on Instagram, so drop me a follow for free and I promise I'll make it worth your while. So that's how you can deliver the ad. Super simple. That's why I absolutely love it. And then you can boost that on Instagram itself for 15 minimum, probably around 30 pounds. And I was getting followers for consistently. Followers are coming in about £1.50 for me. So with let's say you boost it around 20 a day, so $20 or £20 a day, you could probably expect in the range of 10 to 25 followers per day, depending on how effective your ad is. Okay. And that makes it super dangerous because you can just scale that as soon as you're ready to scale that. Dangerously effective. So when someone follows you, you're going to go through this DM conversion method and you're going to thank them for the follow. So, oh, thank you so much, Bernadette, for the follow. I really appreciate it. Have you got your puppy yet? This is going to be followed by the general question. Okay. Then we're going to be in a more specific question. So Bernadette's going to respond, oh yes, I've actually just got my puppy. We got him last week. He's called Billy, and I just loved your content, so I wanted to give you a follow. So you're going to ask me a more specific question. Okay, is Billy your first dog, and what breed is he? So you might ask 2 questions, maybe just one, and then you're going to uncover their pain at this point. So have you ever been worried about, or what's your biggest concern about raising Billy over the next year or so? Oh, Bernadette's worried about the fact that she's got a newborn child and wants to make sure that Billy, the Rottweiler, I'm not sure if Rottweilers are around, I'm guessing they are, Billy the Rottweiler is going to be really well behaved with their kids. So then you can say, if you've had a client result in the past, then you can drop this at this point. So you can say, oh, I just helped Claire, who's got Rottweiler, raise her kids. That this would be perfect outcome, right? But I'm guessing you're probably not in this situation. But this would be perfect outcome kind of once you put this up. I helped Claire with her Rottweiler. She's been able to make sure that her Rottweiler is great with kids and great with her kids' friends as well, because some of them are even scared of dogs. I'd actually love to share this with you. And then it's where you offer the consultation call. In a situation where you've not got that case study or that previous example, you just say, I can fully appreciate that, Bernadette. And then you just go into something that's somewhat similar about hinting the solution. So you'd say, well, it's what's really important, what we found really important with making sure that dogs behave well with kids is the A part of the paw formula. I'd actually really love to go into a bit more detail with you about that on a call. Would that be okay? And then you can also offer the call at that point. That's a really important part of this video, so please do rewatch it if you need to, because that is really important. Going from uncovering pain to hinting solution into call, this is a crucial part of your journey. So I hope that actually made sense. So please do comment if you're unsure. Going into step 8. So we are converting the calls into clients, and I've been able to come up with some alliteration here. So I hope this sticks in your head. Conviction, congruency, control, and care. So I am not a natural salesperson. I am very naturally introverted. I'm more analytical than an out there person. That's just the way my brain works, and where my strengths lie is more in the kind of technical side of things. And I hated sales a lot of the time, and it's one of the main reasons that I didn't actually like doing the SEO business because it didn't really feel like it was authentic to me, and the work I was doing wasn't particularly fulfilling to me. So therefore, I didn't find the sales that enjoyable until I was able to detach from it, and then I found it a lot more enjoyable. So these are messages from me, really. If you are someone who's not naturally someone that's great at sales, these are the best things that I've found have been the most important. So because of the fact that I've not got a perfect script to share with you or anything like that, I'm not going to share that. But these are the main things that are going to get you, I'd say 80% of the way there when it comes to converting calls into clients. So the main thing, conviction beats skill. If you wholeheartedly believe what you can offer someone is going to help them, you are going to find it difficult for them to actually want to choose anyone else, because you're going to communicate that in such a way. And people can really tell if you don't wholeheartedly believe what you can offer them is actually going to help them. You don't need to do anything crazy with skills. You don't need to use silence in a certain way. You don't need to, you don't need to kind of take the offer off the table and then try and lure them in and do anything crazy. If you're fully, wholeheartedly convinced that what you can do is going to change this person's life, then you're going to let them know. And you're going to let them know in a genuine, authentic way. And that's really going to come across. And that's what I found. Congruency with your content, I think, is really important, because if you're creating content in a certain persona and then you get on the call and you're a completely different person, that's just going to be weird and they're not going to trust you as much. So I think that's going to be really important, and that's something I found. So I try to be myself as much as possible. And I think it's not natural, obviously, because there's a camera right here. You're not a person. But I'm just going to talk like I would talk to someone as much as possible. And then that way, if someone consumes enough content, they're actually going to feel like they know you, even though you've got no clue who they are. But then if you get on the camera and get on the call and you're just someone acting completely different, that's just going to be strange for them. So yeah, control the conversation. Obviously, this is important. We don't want to just be sitting there, them just asking loads and loads of questions of you, and you're just basically being interviewed for a job. That is not going to be the right kind of situation that you want to be in. They're going to be like, oh, what's the price? What do we do about this? Da, 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 da. You're actually going to take control of the conversation from the get-go. Super simple sales strategy is to just say, just frame the call, and that's kind of the best way I've found myself. Actually, two things really when it comes to controlling the conversation. So frame the call from the start. So it's like, okay, hi Bernadette, really great to meet you. The way these calls usually go, so that I really like that phrase, because it helps someone to think, okay, like if I'm going to step outside this, I'm stepping outside the norm. So the way these calls usually go is I've just got a few questions that I want to go through with you. I want to understand your current situation, where you want to be, and if there's going to be an opportunity for me to help you actually get that. Does that sound good to you? Something like that. And then I'll probably say something like, and then I'll be able to explain exactly how this works. And then if it sounds like something you'd like to go for, then you can go for it. Or if not, no worries. Does that sound good to you? So framing the call is the best way to control the conversation at the very beginning. And then if it starts to go off track, if they start to ask questions. So I just find it so annoying when this happens, but basically if I'm like, okay, so what's the current situation with your moving company, for example, like how many trucks do you have, how many jobs are you doing, and then the person just immediately asks a question, oh, so what is it you do exactly, and I'll just be like, just give a really short answer, so be polite, so just be like, yeah, so we typically do some website work, but yeah, with that being said, I just want to really get a bit of an understanding about your current situation right now. So what's the current state in terms of number of jobs that we've got coming in per month? So just be really clear, answer the question very quickly, and regain control. I found the best way to control the conversation. And then care about the execution, not the outcome. So don't go into every call thinking, this is an opportunity for me to make $2,000, for example, if that's what your package costs. Don't go into every call focusing on that. I want you to go into every call to just an opportunity to be able to help the person, but then also to follow your framework that you're going to follow, and actually get better at that, because then you're going to find different opportunities to go through different, change your tone ever so slightly or change the wording ever so slightly, and then you're going to start to get feedback from the person in real time as the different ways they're going to answer the questions. And when you approach it like a skill, I find it a bit more enjoyable, a bit less anxiety inducing as well, because it just gives me an opportunity to go through that framework another time and another rep in the gym, basically. And then, yeah, I find that pretty useful myself. So, yeah, that is it. So here we have the 8-step framework of becoming a full-time content creator in just 6 months' time. Probably less, to be honest. If you can sell the right thing at the right price, and you get a winning ad quite quickly, then this can change your life in a matter of weeks, right? So I'm incredibly excited to share this with you, and I'm quite happy with how I've put it together. So if you do have feedback for me, then please do let me know if you like this kind of format of video. If there's anything you wanted me to go into more detail about, then that's obviously helpful for me to know as well. So feel free to comment that as well. But this is it, really. Obviously, I can't go into an hour-long video for or hour-long description for each of these 8 boxes in one video, because that would just be crazy, because this is already a pretty long video as it is. But if you've been able to follow this, you are my kind of person. You are the kind of person that really takes information like this and really runs with it. And you're probably going to be successful if you do implement this yourself, even if you don't get my help. That being said, if you do want my help, then feel free to apply using the link in the description of this video. I'd love to speak with you. As I said, you're my kind of person if you're at this point of the video, and we're going to be able to build something really great together. So that's it from me for this video. I will speak to you again in the next one, and it's been a pleasure, as always. Take care.